4 rings, 4 women, 4 love stories that shook a monarchy, and 1 blue sapphire that broke every royal rule ever written. You'd think choosing an engagement ring would be simple when you're royalty. Walk into the finest jeweler in London, point at the most extraordinary stone in the cabinet, and be done with it. But the truth, as anyone who loves jewelry history will appreciate, is far richer and far more human than that. The 4 rings we're about to explore weren't chosen for spectacle or for status. They were chosen for love, for memory, for quiet acts of rebellion, and sometimes, quite remarkably, simply because a prince was completely penniless. Each stone is a document, each setting a declaration. And together, they tell the story of how a monarchy was slowly, beautifully remade, 1 ring at a time. Queen Elizabeth II, 1947, the diamond born from the ruins of a dynasty. Cast your mind back to 1946. Europe is still drawing breath after the devastation of the Second World War, and a dashing naval officer named Philip Mountbatten has fallen entirely, irreversibly in love with Princess Elizabeth, heir to the British throne. The feeling, by all accounts, is utterly mutual. There is just one problem that no royal protocol can solve. Philip is very nearly broke. Born a prince of Greece in Denmark, Philip had grown up in exile after his family was ousted from their country when he was barely an infant. There was no family fortune, no treasury to draw upon. And yet here was a man who needed to propose to a future queen, which meant he needed a ring worthy of her. This is where the story takes a turn that any jewelry historian will find genuinely breathtaking. Philip's mother, Princess Alice of Battenberg, quietly offered something priceless. She retrieved her own antique diamond tiara from a bank vault in Paris, a piece she had received as a wedding gift from Tsar Nicholas II and Tsarina Alexandra of Russia back in 1903. Think about what those stones carried within them. Those diamonds had survived the fall of the Romanov dynasty, the Russian Revolution, a continent in exile, and 2 world wars. They were, in the truest sense, witnesses to history, and now they were about to find their way onto the finger of a Windsor queen. The tiara was dismantled and handed to the London jeweler Philip Antrobus, who crafted a 3-carat round, brilliant-cut diamond set in platinum, flanked by 10 smaller pave diamonds on either side. Classical, restrained, quietly magnificent. The stones were recut and repositioned, their extraordinary provenance preserved within their very carbon structure. As Princess Alice wrote to her brother afterwards, with barely concealed delight, she thought the ring was a great success. Indeed, Philip would have been inclined to agree. He proposed at Balmoral in September 1946, but the couple kept it secret for months at King George VI's request, until the announcement reached the world on July 9, 1947. From that day forward, Elizabeth wore the ring every single day for the rest of her life. 75 years of quiet, unbroken devotion, expressed in a band of platinum and a brilliant that had once belonged to a Russian empress. What makes this ring so significant is beyond its extraordinary history is the idea it planted. The idea that a royal ring doesn't need to be the most expensive thing in the room. It needs to mean something. The diamonds that had passed from a Romanov vault to a Greek princess in exile to a future British queen carried more meaning than any freshly mined stone from any royal treasury could have. That principle, that meaning matters more than cost. That a ring's story is inseparable from its beauty would echo forward through the decades, but no one would take that idea further or more publicly than the woman who came next. Princess Diana, 1981, the sapphire that belonged to everyone. Now, for a gem lover, the moment we are about to discuss is one of the most delicious in modern jewelry history, because what happens next is equal parts scandalous, revelatory, and utterly perfect. It is 1981, and Prince Charles has proposed to Lady Diana Spencer, 20 years old and luminously lovely, over dinner at Buckingham Palace. He does not arrive with a single pre-chosen ring. He arrives with a tray, a curated selection from Gerard, the crown jeweler, and Diana is invited to choose. Picture that moment. A young woman, surrounded by the full weight of royal expectation, studying a collection of extraordinary jewels, searching for the one that speaks to her. Why she reaches past the more restrained choices, and her eye lands on it immediately. A 12-carat oval Ceylon sapphire, deep, velvety, saturated royal blue, surrounded by 14 round white diamonds in a cluster setting, mounted in 18-carat white gold. The sapphire came from Sri Lanka, then known as Ceylon, famed for producing stones of an extraordinary cornflower to royal blue that gem connoisseurs consider among the finest in the world. And this one was magnificent, that particular depth of color that appears to hold light differently depending on the hour of the day, shifting between vivid and almost contemplative as the light changes. There was one thing, however, that caused quiet consternation among royal circles. The ring Diana had chosen wasn't bespoke. It wasn't a secret commission crafted exclusively for a princess. It was in the Gerard catalog, available to any member of the public, with approximately £47,000 to spend. Some members of the royal family were reportedly horrified. They called it the commoner's sapphire, a slight aimed both at the ring's accessibility and at Diana's own decidedly non-royal origins. A ring was supposed to signal exclusivity. Diana had chosen one that signaled the opposite. Diana didn't blink. She wore it anyway. The design had deeper royal echoes than its critics would acknowledge. It drew inspiration from a sapphire and diamond cluster brooch gifted by Prince Albert to Queen Victoria in 1840, the very brooch Victoria had worn as her something blue on her wedding day. The stone's lineage was impeccably royal. Diana had simply made it human, accessible, democratic, and the world responded accordingly. When she stepped outside for the engagement announcement, dressed in a perfectly matched cobalt blue suit, global fascination erupted. Sapphire engagement rings became a phenomenon overnight. Jewelers could barely keep pace with the demand inspired by a single choice from a cataloged collection. With that choice, Diana had done something no senior royal had done before. She had made jewelry feel as though it belonged to everyone, not just to palaces and privilege. She continued wearing the ring even after her divorce from Charles in 1996, because she had chosen it herself and it was hers. It was the one piece of that marriage that remained unambiguously, undeniably Diana's own. When she died in Paris in 1997, Prince Harry inherited the ring. And what Harry's brother William did with that inheritance, and then what Harry himself did years later, is where this story finds its most moving chapter yet. Kate Middleton, 2010, the sapphire that became a living memorial. In the world of fine jewelry, provenance is spoken of with reverence. The documented history of a piece, the hands it has passed through, the moments it has witnessed. There are very few rings on earth with a provenance as emotionally charged as the one Prince William carried in his rucksack for 3 weeks during a private holiday in Kenya in 2010. He had been carrying his mother's ring everywhere, unable to leave it behind, quietly terrified of losing it. One evening, near the shores of a lake by Mount Kenya, he placed that 12-carat Ceylon sapphire on Kate Middleton's finger and asked her to marry him. The ring was Diana's, the same ring chosen from that Gerard catalog in 1981, the same ring that had sparked a global obsession with sapphires, the same ring that had become perhaps the most recognized piece of jewelry in the world. The world paused when the news came out, because in that single gesture, William had done something that no amount of royal protocol could have scripted. He had allowed the past and the present to occupy exactly the same moment. A ring chosen by a young woman in a Buckingham Palace dining room was now, decades later, and a continent away, beginning its second love story. His explanation was simple and enormous in equal measure. It was his way of making sure his mother didn't miss out on today. For those of us who understand jewelry as a bearer of memory, and truly, what is a precious stone if not a vessel for time? This is among the most profound acts of wearable remembrance in the modern era. The sapphire's color had not changed, The diamonds surrounding it had not shifted, but its meaning had deepened immeasurably. A gem that had already carried one woman's life, choices, and legacy was now being asked to carry another's. For Kate, now the Princess of Wales, accepting that ring meant accepting everything that came with it. The comparison to Diana, the public's deep emotional investment in the stone, the knowledge that every time she extended her hand, people would see its blue depths and think of someone else. She wore it anyway, and with extraordinary grace. Over the years, quietly and without fanfare, the ring stopped being exclusively Diana's ring and became Kate's too. It has been photographed at state banquets and on school runs, in hospital corridors and at sporting events, growing into its second chapter with the same quiet naturalness that Kate herself brought to the role. It is now valued at approximately $500,000, the highest monetary value of our 4 rings, though its emotional valuation is, of course, beyond any gemological calculation. And the sapphire's journey did not end there, because across the family, the younger prince was preparing his own proposal, and his approach to the ring he would give would be unlike anything the royal family had seen before. Designed from nothing, for one specific woman, with both the past and the present woven directly into its setting. Meghan Markle, 2017, the ring designed from the ground up. Every ring in this story so far had a precedent. Elizabeth's was drawn from existing family jewelry. Diana's was selected from a jeweler's established collection. Kate's was inherited entire. Sir Prince Harry's ring for Meghan Markle broke from all of that tradition completely. And for anyone who loves the art and craft of bespoke jewelry, the act of designing something from nothing for a specific person, what Harry did is something genuinely to savor. He went to Cleve & Company, the court jewelers, a firm renowned not for engagement rings, but for crafting military medals, state orders, and royal insignia, and he sat down with the craftsman and designed the ring himself. Every decision was made with deliberate intention. The centerpiece is a cushion-cut diamond of approximately 3 carats, ethically sourced from Botswana. For a gem lover, the choice of a cushion cut is worth pausing on. It is a shape that looks back to antique jewelry while remaining entirely contemporary, with rounded corners and larger facets that create a softer, warmer brilliance than a modern brilliant cut. It glows rather than flashes. It is romantic rather than showy. But the choice of Botswana as the origin of that stone is where the ring's deeper meaning lives. Botswana is not simply a diamond-producing country. It is the country where Harry and Meghan had spent time in the very early months of their relationship, camping together under vast African skies, falling in love well away from cameras and headlines. Choosing a diamond from Botswana was Harry's way of embedding their own geography, their own private love story, directly into the stone at the heart of the ring. The gem itself is a place. The gem is a memory. Flanking that central Botswana diamond on either side are 2 smaller round brilliant diamonds, taken directly from Princess Diana's personal jewelry collection. Both brothers had found their own path to carrying their mother into their engagements. William gave Kate her ring entire. Harry wove pieces of Diana's jewelry into something entirely new, 2 small stones from his mother's collection, set on either side of a stone from the place where he fell in love, all held in yellow gold. Different expressions of the same devotion. The same love, expressed in 2 completely different jewelry philosophies. The yellow gold setting was itself a statement. At a time when white gold and platinum utterly dominated the bridal jewelry market, yet choosing yellow gold announced a personal preference over prevailing trend. It was warm, rich, and unapologetically old world in its palette, while being entirely modern in its design. In 2019, Meghan had the band quietly updated. The original plain band replaced with a thinner pavé diamond band, adding additional light and refining the proportions. The ring evolved with her, as truly personal jewelry always should. 4 stones, 1 story. When you lay these 4 rings side by side and read them as the jewelry historian would, examining them for what they reveal rather than merely what they display, The narrative that emerges is extraordinary in its coherence and its beauty. Elizabeth's ring whispers of diamonds that outlasted dynasties, of love that found a way when wealth could not, of a mother's quiet sacrifice transformed into a lifetime of unbroken devotion. Diana's sapphire speaks in a bolder voice, the voice of a woman who chose what she genuinely loved from a catalog available to all and changed the entire trajectory of bridal jewelry in doing so. Kate's ring holds within its blue depths the aching beauty of continuation, a son carrying his mother forward into the most joyful day of his life, a stone beginning its second chapter without losing a single facet of its first. And Meghan's ring says, with unmistakable clarity, that a ring can be entirely your own, drawn from the place where you fell in love, set in the metal you prefer, redesigned as you grow into yourself. As students of jewelry and history, we know that the finest pieces are never purely ornamental. They are biographical. They record what words cannot fully capture, carry what time would otherwise erase, and declare, silently, brilliantly, in facets and settings, and the precise choice of stone, who wore them and what mattered to them. These 4 rings did not simply mark engagements, they marked eras. They marked the slow, magnificent transformation of an institution that had stood unchanged for centuries, remade ring by ring, woman by woman, stone by stone. Each of these gems, held up to the light today, still holds its history within it, still catches the past, still throws back color. That is what the very finest jewelry always does. It outlasts everything, except the story. If stones could speak, these 4 would have the most extraordinary stories to tell, and we've only just begun. Like and subscribe to keep exploring the jewels that shaped history, one gem at a time.